Hello everyone! In this video I'm going to share some of my unpopular Star Wars opinions, and I really hope I won't regret this. Let's go! Star Wars has tons of fans, and everyone has their own idea of what Star Wars is, and sometimes that leads to arguments, but I don't want to argue with you. I just feel it's kind of fun to sometimes discuss our differences. So my first kind of unpopular opinion is that I liked Solo Star Wars movie. You know, the Han Solo standalone prequel movie. I think this movie wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't like the greatest thing ever done, but it was fun. The problem is that it came after The Last Jedi, so the fandom was very angry at the time, very divided, very disappointed. So a lot of people just didn't see this movie, I feel like, or they just didn't want to accept it in a way. But I feel like the movie was fine. I mean, it's not without its flaws, but I still feel it was enjoyable. They picked a good actor for Han Solo. I mean, nobody can replace Harrison Ford, he did a good job, and the story was fun, and I liked seeing Lando and Chewbacca. Of course, there were certain things that were maybe a bit unnecessary, like how Han Solo got his name. These kind of details feel a bit like abundant, but at that time it was, I think, in fashion to have these prequels that give you details of how this or that happened, which is not the most interesting thing. I think it's interesting just to spend time with this character, to see him in a different period of his life, some of his backstory. That's cool, that's interesting. So yeah, I enjoyed this movie. It's not my favorite Star Wars movie, but it's one of the movies I like to rewatch from time to time, and I just enjoy it on its own. I think it's fine. I think it's fine, and I feel like it had the potential to start some kind of a TV series that could have been quite cool. I mean, it had an open ending with Han going to Tatooine, and I feel like it could have been a nice opportunity for TV series. And I still hope that maybe they will do it one day. But of course, if they do a Han Solo TV series, I hope they develop the idea more, because we don't need any more mediocre TV series, right? So that's my first unpopular opinion, that I liked Solo Star Wars story. I felt it's alright. Then second one is about Boba Fett. So I think there is a big part of the fandom that really liked Boba Fett. He was very kind of popular, and that's why they made The Mandalorian, and then they made Boba Fett TV series. But I feel like I don't know, I liked Boba Fett as this kind of mysterious character, like faceless character that we only see from outside. I didn't really need his backstory in the prequels, but it was okay. It wasn't too much. It showed his origins, and it was fine. Then I was never very excited about The Mandalorian when it was first announced. I was not very excited about the Boba Fett TV series, because I was never all that interested in this character as some of the other fans were. But then, of course, I really liked The Mandalorian. The Boba Fett TV series was not so good. I still feel like I don't like this character as much as some other fans. I mean, I like him, but I don't need to know so much more about him, you know? But that's okay. There are different kinds of fans, and each of us have their own preferences. Maybe you really like Boba Fett and you were very excited to see his TV series. I hope you weren't disappointed too much, but yeah. Like, I feel some characters are just better left as they are. They're better left as mysterious figures rather than over-explaining every stage of their life. So now, number 3. This one is maybe the most unpopular or the most controversial opinion I have, but hear me out, okay? I have my reasons. I actually like Rey. I like Rey's character. I know many people dislike her because she's overpowered, but I found something interesting about her, so I will explain it. First of all, she's kind of charming, like her presence on screen. I think in the first movie she was very likable. Like the thing is that, okay, she's overpowered, which I understand why it makes her a bit less interesting, because she knows everything and everything comes easy to her and so on. But even though she was so overpowered, she was kind of emotionally weak. Like, she didn't know her place in the world. She wanted to find a meaning, belonging. She wanted to find connection. And I felt that this was interesting about her, and the idea of someone who is physically overpowered but emotionally weak could have worked very well. But the problem is like they didn't explore her story very well. She didn't have a very well structured arc. You know the problems with the sequels. Like I don't want to get into that, but I feel like Rey as a character had the potential to be interesting if they had explored more her weakness, her emotional weakness that maybe stands in the way of her unnatural powers. Like you can have such a kind of character. Like you can have a character that is super powerful and everything comes easy to them, and then give them another flaw, like emotional flaw, or maybe the fact that they're overpowered can somehow backfire at them. I mean, you can do a lot of interesting things even with a character who starts as a Mary Sue but can end up in a different way. And I liked her dynamic with Kylo Ren. I felt like there was a lot of potential in their dynamic, also because Kylo Ren was emotionally unstable. Yeah, there was potential there. But the problem is that they never really constructed a good arc for Rey. They never constructed a good arc for the sequels in general. And so Rey just couldn't grow as a character. She didn't fulfill her potential as a character. So I don't mind to see a movie with her in the future, but I hope they before they make a movie about her, they really think of a good arc for her and give her some obstacles to overcome, give her some flaws or something. I don't know. But yeah, I don't dislike her as a character as much as other people do. I feel like the problem with her comes mostly from the plot and the structure of the story, and not so much as her as a character. Another controversial opinion is about other kinds of characters that some fans don't like, and I really like, and that's the Ewoks. I like that they're fierce and they're fighting and they're still cute. Just this contrast of these bears who are warriors and they have community and they have a very strong spirit and they fight against the Empire. I like that. I understand that maybe they're not everyone's favorite, and I understand that some people might be annoyed by them, but I like them and I like how they were fighting the Empire. Some may say it's a bit goofy, but I find it fun. And I like how they managed to use very primitive techniques to fight the Empire, and I think they use some clever solutions, and I like that. I sometimes prefer a battle that has very differences in power, but because somebody is maybe a bit smarter or use some smart technique. I mean, one of them is at disadvantage, but they use some smart technique to win anyway. And that makes the battle more interesting because it's more like a battle of wits, not so much a battle of technology. Like, how are they going to go against those machines? They have their little traps, and of course this is not very realistic, but in the universe of Star Wars it kind of worked for me. And I like when they welcomed our characters. I like the Endor. I like the forest. I think it was a nice location for the end of the movie. It was less technological, but it kind of felt like it has more connection to the Force, and I don't know, I liked it. And I feel like it's nice when we have differences in the battles, like the aerial battles. The lightsaber battles are cool, but sometimes even having like a little Ewoks fighting the Empire can be fun as well. It gives some variety. But yeah, I like the Ewoks. I've always liked them. And in that line of thought, well, this is not very unpopular, but yeah, I will mention it. Another little bit unpopular opinion is that my favorite Star Wars movie is actually The Return of the Jedi. I feel like most fans have agreed that it's The Empire Strikes Back, which is the best movie. Maybe it's the best movie. Still, I love The Return of the Jedi because it was the first movie I saw, and I like the hopeful ending. I like to see the story wrap up. I just like this movie the most. When I see the end, when the Empire is defeated and everyone's come together, it gives me very nostalgic feeling. It is very strong, and I think it's stronger than the Empire. Even though Empire is a really good movie, I really like it. So another unpopular opinion is about the famous line, "I don't like sand." So this is a line from the Attack of the Clones that Anakin is telling to Padme. I never had a problem with that line, and I kind of didn't understand why it became such a meme and everyone was complaining about it. Later, I understood better why people didn't like it, but in the beginning, it felt like it made sense because Padme mentioned her going to the beach and so on, and then Anakin mentioned his own experience which were so different from hers. So it was a bit like, a metaphor about his childhood and his life that is so different from hers. And it just made sense. But maybe because in that moment he was a bit awkward and his delivery of the line was a bit awkward and the way he looked at her and touched her was a bit like cringy maybe. But I felt like it all made sense for his character, for the scene. He is not like some smooth seducer, he's awkward since the beginning, and that's who he is. And so yeah, I felt it made sense, but I understand why people think it's cringy. But I never had a problem with this, really, no. So another unpopular opinion, maybe, I don't know how unpopular it is, but I feel like some people are very focused on what is canon, and I don't think I am anymore. Like before, yes, I was interested in what is canon and continuity and stuff like that. But after they kind of deleted all the legends from canon, after they threw away so many stories that I grew up reading and they made the sequels, I was like, maybe I can have my own headcanon. And I feel like that's okay. Like for me, I think in my head, the original canon is the legends, the books that I read. And then I see the sequels and the new Star Wars, Rey and Kylo Ren and stuff like that. I see that as an alternative universe. And I can like them both in a way, but I don't know. Some fans are sometimes like arguing so much, like what is canon, what is not, what is the right interpretation or the wrong interpretation. And I don't believe in that. Like I'll give you example with Andor. Like people were arguing a lot about if Jyn Erso and Cassian had any romantic spark or not. I mean, you decide for yourself. Like the scenes are very vague, so you decide for yourself, I think. If you think it makes more sense for them to have some romantic spark, even if it's just like the heat of the moment, they feel connection, or you feel like this connection is purely friendship, it's up to you to interpret it. And I think that's the beauty of the way this movie is made, that it gives you the opportunity to fill in the gaps. And I feel like this is also for other books or other stories. Whenever they give you space to fill in the gaps, you're free to do it as you like, as you prefer, and nobody should tell you what is right or wrong. And we can discuss our differences in the way we see things, in the way we perceive things. It's fun to have discussions, but they don't have to be aggressive and negative. Discussions can be fun, our differences of opinions can be fun. It doesn't have to be negative all the time. And also for the canon thing, there are a lot of gaps in the stories and you can fill them up in your own way. And the same as Rey and Kylo Ren, you can interpret their relationship however you want. And if you want to write a reel of fic for thousands of pages about them, do it. Like, I think that's why Star Wars and many other stories have such a big fandoms, is because they give you opportunity to imagine more stories, to have discussions. You can argue who is the most powerful Jedi, who is the best pilot. You can argue about a lot of things, but it's not so important, the canon. It's important for the creators of the stories. It's important to have continuity. It's important for things to make sense, and it's important to have an anchor to know what is the official, story. But from then on, everyone is free to fill in the gaps, to have their own interpretation, and we don't have to force our viewpoint and our interpretation on others and tell them they're stupid because they have different opinion. No. I mean, some opinions are very much out there and maybe they're wrong, but I just hope fans could be a bit more tolerant towards each other. But yeah, well. Oh, and of course, my most controversial opinion is I really think The Acolyte was a masterpiece. The best show ever made. Of course, I'm trolling you. I'm sorry. No, I didn't like it, no. But you know what I liked? I liked Skeleton Crew, and I feel sad about it because I think Skeleton Crew had the same fate as Solo Star Wars Story. It came out after another project that was controversial and that pushed people away because nobody wanted to see Solo after The Last Jedi, and now nobody wanted to see Skeleton Crew after The Acolyte, and I feel sad about that. So yeah, those are my most I think, controversial Star Wars opinions. I hope I didn't offend anyone or anger anyone. It's just my preferences, okay? Like, if you don't like Rey or you don't like the Ewoks, that's fine, right? So let me know what are your unpopular Star Wars opinions. And with this video, I'm kind of wrapping up my Star Wars month. That actually is longer than a month, but anyway, from next week, I will go back to talk about other subjects. I will tell you about my unpopular book opinions, and then we can talk about other stuff. Like, I still have to make my Stormlight videos, but since it's summer, I might skip a week. Like, I'm trying to post new video each week, each Thursday. In summer, I will see if I can manage that, because I will be traveling a bit. But yeah, I will try it. I will try to do it. If you are interested in Star Wars, you can check my Star Wars playlist, where I have other Star Wars related videos. I might make more Star Wars related videos in the future if there's anything interesting to talk about. I have some Star Wars books I'm going to read, so maybe I will make another Star Wars books related video. We'll see. And that's it for now. Thank you for watching. Bye bye, and see you next time.